Good evening. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Thanks for being here. I'm very excited to talk to you about juicing today. My name is Sharon Gregory, and I am the Happy Vegan. So welcome. Yeah, I transitioned to a vegan lifestyle about a year ago. And had somebody told me a year ago I was going to be vegan, I would have probably just laughed at them because I had such a misconception about what vegan kind of foods were. And it wasn't until I started researching and learning about all of the benefits and all of the great things I actually did have available to me to eat and how delicious and how healthy it was that made me think a lot different about that. Now, that doesn't mean that you sitting here all have to be vegans, because I know that not everybody here is a vegan, and that's okay. You're going to have to leave. No, just teasing. So that is not a prerequisite, So our cooking series is really about healthy eating. And you know what? It just so happens to be that it's vegan and gluten-free and refined sugar-free. And we're trying to show you how you can make things that are absolutely delicious and healthy at the same time. This class will be a little unique because we're only going to be talking about juicing. And so as you can imagine, just by the title of juicing, it sounds pretty healthy, doesn't it? Just juicing, yeah. So I know that's why you're here, is to learn about juicing. But my question to you is, why do you want to learn about juicing? Why do you want to learn about juicing? So just take a moment and just discuss in your teams with your teammates. Well, why are you here? Why do you want to learn about juicing? So take a moment and just chat about that, and then I'll have you come back and tell me what you want to learn, why you want to learn. So it looks like lots of thoughts about why you want to learn about juicing. So can you share some of your reasons for why you want to learn about juicing? How about this team? What was some of your discussion about why are you here? Why do you want to learn about juicing?
Just eat healthier as you get older.
Okay.
Just balanced diet.
Okay. I'm just going to jot these down to eat healthier.
So it's easier to consume the right amount of your fruits and vegetables in a day.
Okay. Got to eat those fruits and veggies, right? Right? Okay. How about this team?
Hopefully to get more energy and possibly lose weight.
Oh, okay. More energy, lose weight. Excellent. Whoops. Well, I hate when that happens. Okay. Yeah, we're good. It doesn't stay on this. There we go. Thank you. See what I mean? Yeah, this is the wrong flip chart. That's okay. It's good. It'll probably bop me on the head another time. That's all right. Sometimes it takes me a few times to remember. What else? Anything else on that team? Yeah, lose weight, get energy. Good. How about this team?
Detoxify for spring.
Detoxify.
And that way we can do it at home instead of having to go out and be limited to purchasing it. We can do it at home.
Excellent. So detoxify and learn to do at home.
Yeah, using whole products versus having any type of preservative added.
Okay, using whole foods. No additives. Excellent. All right. Wow. Good news. You're in the right class. So that's good. Everybody's here for the right reasons, and we're going to be able to talk about all of these reasons to be doing juicing. So again, welcome to the juicing class. you have a few things in front of you, actually several things in front of you. One of the things is a little booklet. So you've got this booklet. This is your booklet to take home with you, so this is your reference. In fact, there's probably more information in here than what we'll actually be going through. I might breeze through a few of these slides, but this is meant to be a reference for you. So not only will it contain the discussions that we'll be having today, but it also has all of the recipes that we will be trying today and that you will be making. Then the other important piece that I want to point your attention to is your little, almost looks like a little playing card of some sort. We are going to be making 10 juices. So you are going to be able to experience 10 different kinds of juices. And these little circles represent the individual juices that you will be sampling. And just to make it fun, if you notice on the bottom of that little sheet, there's a little guide there. It says, red is yuck. And I cannot guarantee that you're going to love every one of the juices that we're going to make. Okay? I would tell you right now, there is one juice that you will make that I will not even try, and it has beets in it. And I hate beets, and I wish I loved beets because they are so full of goodness. But that juice that contains the beets, which is this one right here, this energized juice, I would be marking that with my little stickers. You've got some stickers. You see you've got red, green, and yellow stickers. I would be marking that one with the red yuck. Now then, if there's one that's okay, probably not going to be my go-to juice every day, then yellow. Okay, didn't hate it, didn't love it, but it's okay. And then the green, yum. Yum, oh, let's have that as often as we can. So this little sheet then you'll be able to take home with you because it summarizes the vegetables or the fruits that are in it. And you have the full-size recipes as well. But then this will be a little guide sheet so that obviously you would not want to make any of the juices on here that have red markings. So it's just really for your reference. Each team is going to be making 3 juices. So each team is according to the pods that you are. And then I'll be making just one juice, this little demo juice down here, just to show you how simple it is. So those are the 2 things that you really need to know about at this time before we get into the presentation. And again, these little booklets are yours to keep, so feel free to take notes, write in them, do whatever you need to do. Any questions before we get started? Okay, well, let's do this. So here's our agenda. Well, we've got a lot to cover today. So we'll talk about this, and you might want to follow along in your books because I know it's a little bit, it's a little small up there on the screen. So juicing basics. I'm going to talk about what is juicing. So what's the definition of juicing? What are the benefits of juicing? So why would you even consider juicing? And then what's the difference between juicing and blending? Oh my gosh, if I had just $1 for every time somebody asked me that, we'd probably be doing our classes in Hawaii or something like that because it's a really great question, but it's a question I get all the time. So I'd like to be able to clearly demonstrate what is the difference and is one better than the other? Why should we do juicing versus blending or vice versa? So we'll talk at great length about that. Then I'll talk about 3 different types of juicers because some of you maybe have juicers at home. Who has juicers at home? Can I just see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Well, that's good. So some of you already have juicers at home. And I'm not even going to ask the next question of, do you use your juicer? No, I'm just not going to even address that pink elephant in the room. And that's okay if you don't use it. I wonder why you don't use it. Maybe you don't know how to use it. Right? Maybe it's in a cabinet that's way too hard to bring out every time you want to use it. So here's tip number 1. If you want to juice, where should you put your juicer? Right on the counter. Yeah, right there. So it looks at you every single day. Yeah. So maybe that's why you don't use it, because it's not readily available. So we'll look at all 3 different common juicers. This is called a centrifugal juicer. We'll learn about that. We'll learn about this masticating or single gear juicer. We'll learn about that. And then we'll learn about the twin gear juicer. All very different. And you're going to be able to experiment with all three of these juicers. What kind of juicers do you have? Do you know? Okay, you've got a centrifugal. Do you know? Okay, that's okay. That's okay. By the time you leave here, you'll definitely know what kind of juicer you have. Centrifugal. So you've got one of these. Yep, centrifugal. Yeah, and so this is the most common juicer, and I'll show you, and we'll talk about the difference between all of these three devices. So. And then we actually do have a special guest coming in to talk about a hydraulic press, which is a commercial kind of juicer, which I don't have one of those. But I still want you to be aware of that. And I'll introduce him a little bit later. And then we'll talk about some tips for juicing, some general tips to keep in mind when you are creating your own juices. And then we'll look at the ingredients, some ingredients that we'll be focusing on tonight, and then I'll show you how to make a juice with the centrifugal juicer, and then I'll show you how to use each of the other machines, and then teams will just go to the making of the juices. So that is our agenda for this evening. So starting with juicing basics, as I said, we would discuss, well, what is juicing? Well, juicing is the extraction of juice from fresh fruits and vegetables. Oh, it's that simple. And it creates it creates a delicious drinkable cocktail of vitamins, minerals, so it can be very, very wholesome, very good for you. Now, advocates of juicing say that it's really good for you because you take the fiber out when you juice. When you take the fiber out, what does that do for digestion? Makes it quicker, makes it easier, so your body doesn't have to work as hard. Now then, the people opposed to juicing, because there's two schools of camp out there. So there are some folks that say, no, you should blend. You should blend because blending will keep your fibers intact. So there are some schools of thought out there that say, no, don't juice, but blend so that you can keep the fibers intact. But with juicing specifically, you remove the fibers so that it's easily digestible. And I say, is juicing or blending better than another? And again, we'll talk more about this, but both are much better alternatives than having just a sugar snack or even a sugar juice. So I'm an advocate of both of those methods, but tonight we're just going to focus on juicing. So I've listed a lot of benefits of juicing, and I'll share something with you as to why I chose to get into juicing. All of these things are really great, and I didn't learn about the benefits of juicing, which is really what you've already written up here for us. I didn't even learn about juicing until I was having my own health challenge. I was diagnosed with cancer, and that was a really big shock to me. A huge shock to me, because I always thought that I had a really great healthy diet and managed my weight and did everything right. Well, it happens. It happens. And so one of the first things I learned about was things I was going to have to do differently for my body. And that was to create an alkalized environment. Remove the acidity from my body, because an acidic environment causes cancer cells to appear and grow, and in some cases grow quickly. So juicing, I learned very quickly, was a great way to alkalize the blood, and that's what I knew I needed to do as part of my healing, was to remove the acidity from my blood and make it more alkalizing, and that is one of the great benefits of juicing. It does that for you. So that's what turned me onto juicing, and the rest is just all history, because now I just love my juice. It just tastes good too. But I do want to review some of these benefits with you. Increased energy. I saw energy up here. It can help you to balance your blood sugars, which is certainly directly related to weight and weight loss. It can help you strengthen your immune system. So I'm sure everybody here would want to do at least one of those things on that list. Probably, right? Because those are all some really healthy things to do for your body. And the list goes on and on. As you already mentioned, we're able to absorb those nutrients faster and easier when we juice, because the fibers that are in these fruits and vegetables aren't always adaptable in our systems, or it takes a long time for them to get through our system. And by juicing, we remove that from the equation so that we're able to get those nutrients in our body within about 15 minutes. So they're absorbed very quickly. So, and then it provides a healthy rest for your digestive system as well. So, nice for your digestive system to just kind of take it easy and just enjoy all those nutrients and all the alkalizing nature that it's doing without having to work so hard and churn. Now, I've had people say to me, well, what's the difference if I eat this many vegetables in a juice or this many vegetables in a salad? And this is a bad example because this is a lot of fruits in this one. And my response to that is, I couldn't eat as many vegetables as I put into my juice. I'd be sitting there, I'd still be having lunch. It would take that long to do. So from that end, it does give your digestive system a little bit of a rest. As I said, it promotes alkalinity in the body, which is really helpful for healthy cell growth. So that was a big thing for me. It's very cleansing too, may have a bit of a laxative effect, and so that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I think whenever I make the juices that have more fruits in it, that tends to happen a little bit more, but it's very detoxifying. Juicing can be very detoxifying. And by consuming raw vegetables and raw fruit, all of the enzymes and all of the goodness in those raw vegetables and fruit are kept intact. Whereas if you heat them up or if they're processed, then you lose some of that nutritious value. So some other benefits of juicing are glowing eyes and skin, strong hair and nails. No, just some nice little side benefits. Who doesn't want to have glowing skin and good nails and hair? Improved appetite control, and that's very true. So juicing is not meant to be a meal replacement. So, and we'll talk a little bit more about that when we discuss the difference between juicing and blending, but it can help you because it stabilizes your blood sugar. It can help you to not feel that urge to eat as often. Sometimes if I'm feeling the urge to eat, well, a lot of times if you're feeling that urge to eat, you're just dehydrated and you should just drink something. And so I would rather drink a little bit of juice than to just have a drink of water. So, and if water is the only thing available, that's great too, but the juicing can help with appetite control. And so you get just a big burst of antioxidants and phytonutrients and vitamins and minerals and chlorophyll and enzymes. And I'm going to just talk very briefly about those things because I don't want this to get into a chemistry lesson because that would be really boring. But all of this information is in your packet. So if you do like the details of some of those contents, then by all means read that. So let's talk just a little bit about that. Antioxidants and phytonutrients. So antioxidants are what fight those free radicals. And what are free radicals? They're like robbers in your body. And they attach onto these electrons. And what they do then is it's like a cascading effect. And then they keep multiplying and multiplying. And guess what these free radicals do? Cause diseases. So antioxidants can give your body back those electrons that those free radicals are robbing you of. However, if you have too many of those free radicals, it's really hard for your body to keep up. And so juicing can help that. And where do those free radicals come from? Well, they can come from poor diet, carcinogens, environmental toxins, even stress. So those free radicals are trying to attack your body all the time. And by juicing, it can be a way to help to try to minimize their impact. So what are some common antioxidant fruits? So I've just listed a few here. We will be juicing today with apples. I don't use a lot of fruit in my juices. I don't use a lot of fruit in my juices. I will use some because I'm going to kind of ease you into juicing. I don't like a lot of fruit in my juice, but what does the fruit do to the juice when you add it in? Makes it sweeter. Yeah. And so if you're a juicing virgin, then you might want to start out with that, because having just a green juice that's just all full of veggies, which is so good for you, your body might say, what are you doing to me? So we will incorporate some fruits into our juices. Actually, the rule of thumb is 3 to 1. 3 veggies to 1 fruit. So that's a rule of thumb to do as you start to juice yourself and as you start to put juicing into your daily routine. Just remember, 3 to 1. A little bit of sweet makes it more palatable, certainly. And there's nothing wrong with having like an apple or a pear, things that are very good, high antioxidant values. So vegetables, many vegetables contain antioxidants. We will be spending a lot of time with kale today, kale and spinach. Those are high in antioxidants. And so just very briefly, we'll look at other phytonutrients that we'll be using and getting today, like beta-carotene. That's in orange and dark leafy greens, so we're definitely going to see that. We've got carrots in our juices, we've got kale in our juices, we've got spinach in our juices. Lycopene, we've got tomatoes in one of our juices. So we'll have, actually I don't have any orange. Well, we've got oranges, so we'll be juicing with some oranges. Resveratrol, I'm sure you've all heard of resveratrol. Now that does not mean to go run out, buy a bottle of wine. Sharon said, drink that red wine because it's full of resveratrol. No, I wish I could tell you that, but I can't tell you that because even though it does have some good properties, it also is acidic. Why don't you want your body to be acidic? Well, because of those free radicals, which can cause things like disease, and in my case, cancer. So, yes, but in moderation, because that resveratrol, there's still some good benefits in there, but we just want to make sure that we're not counteracting those benefits by making an acidic environment. So, and apples and onions, very healthy as well. We won't juice with onions today, but there are some recipes that contain onions and are actually quite good. So, like a Bloody Mary, minus the vodka. Yeah. So and actually that's my husband's. That's one of his favorite juices. We're not making that one tonight though, but not with the vodka in it though. He probably wouldn't argue if we put that in there. So vitamins and minerals. This is again something that we're getting good from our juices, vitamins and minerals. And be cautious. I do want to just make note of. There's a lot of foods out there that say fortified with vitamins and minerals. What does that actually mean? It means nothing. It means nothing. But it does mean that they basically strip anything good out because they process it, and then what do? Spray it back on. How can you get vitamins and minerals sprayed on? That's what they do. Yeah, so anytime you see orange juice, fortified, put it back, go home, make a juice. Yeah, it's going to be way better for you, definitely. So when we cook our foods, we lose some of those nutrients. We lose some of those nutrients and some of those enzymes. And I'm not saying you can't cook your foods. I love cooked food. Definitely. But just keep in mind that when you do have raw foods like a juice, you keep all of those good things intact, and that's very helpful. The other thing that we get from juicing is chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is like liquid oxygen, so it's like the sunlight. So chlorophyll helps to heal and detox. It's good for the immune system. What foods are high in chlorophyll? Think green. Think outside, think green. So your spinach, your kale, your broccoli, which by the way, broccoli is very good to juice with too. We won't be juicing with broccoli today, but if you like a sweeter juice, but still want to try to stay heavy on the veggies, broccoli stem will actually sweeten up a juice. Not the flower parts, eat those parts, but the broccoli stem will actually sweeten up your juice. So what are you getting? A big burst of chlorophyll there. So, and we talked a little bit about enzymes, and your body has different types of enzymes. They've got digestive enzymes, and they've got metabolic enzymes. Digestive enzymes, how are those triggered? When you're chewing. That's why you need to chew. Chew, chew, chew. You know, they recommend to try to chew 30 times. That's really hard. I've tried it. Sometimes I can't get past 10. But try that. Next time you sit down to have a meal, try chewing your foods better, because if you chew your foods better, that's going to make it easier on your digestive system. Way easier on your digestive system. And it's also going to allow those enzymes to go where they need to go. So try chewing your food better. And with juicing, we don't have to worry about that. There is no chewing involved, no chewing needed. So, and I said as you heat up your food, you lose some of those enzymes. So a raw food is considered raw if it's heated up no more than 118 degrees. So think about your oven. There's nothing, well, your oven doesn't even go down that low. So raw foods are really just keeping the foods out of the oven. And that's what we'll be able to do with juicing, certainly. So if we talk about homemade juice versus store-bought juice, so let's just talk a little bit about that, because I think there's sometimes confusion about what a juice actually is. So when I talk to people about juicing, you know, a lot of times they'll say, oh, just like orange juice? Because I think that's what's ingrained in our minds. You know, when we grew up, did any of you grow up with green juices? Ew, no way. No way. I didn't grow up with green juices. What'd you grow up with? Orange juice. Here, have your orange juice. Here, have a cup of sugar. So now if you're doing it fresh, then those sugars aren't going to be as harmful for you. But if you've got store-bought orange juice, there's oftentimes a lot of sugar hidden in that. So just read the labels. Read the labels. Become very, very vigilant at reading labels. So I say instead of buying a store-bought pasteurized juice, which contains often additives, artificial flavors, additional sugars, you know what? Have a piece of fruit instead. Just eat that piece of fruit instead, because you'll get a lot more benefits from that. Now, what about store-bought prepackaged raw juice? And as I said, we'll have a special guest coming in today who is the owner at Fresh from the Farm Juices. I don't know if anybody's been there. They're up in Wexford. And so I buy his juices sometimes. I'm lucky because I've got a wonderful husband who typically does all of my juicing for me, Dave. Say hello to everybody. That's Dave, my husband. And Dave is so wonderful that he does a majority of juicing at the house. But occasionally things get crazy or hectic, or I just need another juice, and I'm driving past Fresh from the Farm, and I'll stop in and buy a juice there. And I don't feel badly about buying a juice there. Well, it's a little more expensive than if we were to make it at home. But I know that I'm getting raw juice. That's real juice with nothing added and processed in the right way. So it's certainly a good option if you're time crunched, definitely. And actually, when you taste some of Ankit's juices, he makes this one really incredible juice. It's called the Healer, and I hope he brings it for us to taste because it's really good. And I haven't been able to duplicate it yet. Maybe we'll get the recipe from him. We're going to work on that one. So, yeah. So store-bought prepackaged may be okay, but just make sure that it's raw, organic, and unpasteurized when you're buying a store-bought juice. And then, of course, what we're going to be talking about, the best way, make it yourself, homemade, using a juicer. So juicing versus blending. What is the difference? Well, we mentioned it earlier. Juicing extracts the liquid and leaves the fiber out. So the fiber will actually go in a catch bin. So all of these juicers, as you can see up here, have little bins. This one happens to have a big catch bin. This is where your fiber goes. You can use this for composting in your garden. Some people get clever and use it and make crackers out of it. I haven't been that desperate to do that yet, but it could be good. I'll have to try it sometime. It would depend on what we're juicing. And you could just put it in a dehydrator and make your own crackers. That's kind of cool. But that's what juicing does. Takes that fiber out. And we make juices. Blending. Now, so everybody probably has a blender or has been around a blender at some time. And a blender, now think about a blender. Everything you put in stays in. So it's not like a juicer where you've got a separate compartment where fibers come out. So with a blender, everything just gets pulverized, liquefied right in that canister. So what does that mean for the fiber? Stays in there. Yep, it stays in there. And with fiber, that will tend to make you feel more full. So the way I like to remember the difference between juicing and blending is that juicing is a snack, and blending can be a meal, because of the length of time that you don't feel hungry if you have a smoothie, in other words. And both are good. Both have their place in our diets. My preference personally is juicing, but that's because I just like the juice. But if you like a smoothie better, then by all means do that. You can still make a green smoothie. You can still make one that's full of vegetables and not just fruit. So which is better? Again, I say both have great benefits. Both have really, really powerful benefits. I prefer the green juices because it's easy to digest and I'm getting those nutrients right into my bloodstream and I'm alkalizing the blood, and that's one of my goals. But fiber that you get from blending, as I said, that can be good too. So I don't want to say that fiber is not good. In my diet personally, I get plenty of fiber from other food sources. If I didn't, then I might want to consider doing more blending so that I would get that extra fiber. But my diet consists of good enough fiber. So it's really just based on you. But that fiber can make you feel full, as I said. So for some people, doing blending is beneficial. So, and stop me if you have any questions as we go through here. So it's a lot of information just kind of piled on. Well, we want to talk about the different types of juicers now. So the three types of juicers, the centrifugal, the masticating, a twin gear, and then Kit later on is going to talk about this hydraulic press. So those are the four common juicers, but actually the first three are your common ones. This one is mostly for commercial use. So I don't have one of those in my home. So a centrifugal juicer, that is this juicer here. And so with this centrifugal juicer, it's got a spinning basket in here. I just want to take this apart and show you. So it's got this spinning basket in here. Let me get this out here. There we go. It's just got this spinning basket in here. And these are really, really, really sharp. So when you wash this, it usually comes with a little tool. Always make sure that you use the tool that came with your juicer, or you'll get cut. And so what you do is you put your juice in, and I'll demonstrate this a little bit later, and it goes through those blades, and goes through that strainer, and it goes at a pretty high RPM, so 6,500 to 1,300 RPMs. So that's pretty darn fast. So and it goes fast. So you put those fruit or the vegetables in there, and boom, it's just right there. Now, the problem with the centrifugal juicer is it's horrible for greens. So when you start to be juicing greens, which is what you need to be focusing on to alkalize your blood, help you detox, help you with weight loss, help you with the immune system, it's the greens that you really need. And that's the reason that this centrifugal juicer stays here for demonstration purposes. I don't like it. And again, just because my juice, and you'll see one of these juices is actually my juice, and my juice is just about all green. And this won't handle it. It'll just spit that green right out into here, right out into your fiber pit. So that's the bad thing about it. Now, if you are making fruit juices, oh my gosh, this juicer is the juicer that you want. If you are just interested in making sweet juices like orange juice, then this is a fantastic machine to do that. And the other thing to consider with the centrifugal juicer is because of that high RPM, and that's really pulverizing those fruits and vegetables. What do you think that's doing to those fruits and vegetables with all that friction, all that force? Heating it up. With that temperature, you're going to increase the oxidation of those fruits and vegetables, which means that when you make a juice from the centrifugal juicer, you better be drinking that in about 15 minutes, for one thing, because it's just going to taste horribly after that because of the too much oxidation with that type of juicer. So, and you may lose some of the nutrients because you're heating it up. You're heating up your fruits and vegetables. Now, the good thing about the centrifugal juicer is it's the least expensive. And we'll talk about cost of these machines too, just to give you an idea of what cost you have. So, but this is the least expensive of the other juicers. Now, the masticating juicer, that's this one right here. This one's a little bit, well, actually a lot bit heavier. And so this one, just let's open this up. This one, I just want to show you the blade on this one. Let me just, there we go. So this one, this is why it's masticating, or sometimes you'll hear it referred to as single gear, because it's one gear. And it's not even sharp. That's not even sharp. And so it just churns and churns and churns and churns and churns. And it goes through then this little screen here, and all your good juice comes out of that screen. And then all of the pulp gets pushed out the end here. So this is your pulp. This is where all your pulp and your fiber goes. And this is where all of your juice goes. So this machine, because it's using just this single gear kind of process, it goes at much slower speeds. So that particular machine goes at about 80 RPMs or less. That's a significant difference than 6,500 to 13,000. This one goes up to 13,000 RPMs. That one goes as high as 80 RPMs. So it does take a little bit longer to juice, but you're not going to be heating up those fruits and vegetables. So you're going to be preserving just about all of the enzymes and all the nutrients in your fruits and vegetables. And the good news about that also is that you will be able to not have to drink your juice all within 15 minutes. So you can make juice for a couple of days and have it safely sit in your refrigerator without loss of nutritious value of your nutrients, or without loss of taste with the masticating juicer. So that's a little bit better, and of course with that comes a little higher price tag. Now then, the twin gear juicer, which is what I call the Mac Daddy of juicers, and this is the one that sits right on my counter very proudly. Very proudly, this Super Angel is the brand. Super Angel just sits there, and look how pretty it looks. You know, you just kind of want to pet it almost. And so it's like a little pet. So this one is called a twin gear juicer, and I'm much better at operating this one because this is the one that we actually personally use. So this has twin gears, and let me tell you, these are, we could get a little workout here now that I'm thinking about it. These are kind of heavy. I'm exaggerating, but no, this is all stainless steel. And these twin gears, they go together like that, and they take your vegetables and they just squeeze it in through there. Now, this is also running at a really low RPM as well. And with this one, however, there's even less oxidation taking place with this twin gear process. Therefore, allowing your juices to even last maybe up to 3 days in the refrigerator. And for busy people, which you all are, that is actually quite helpful because you can juice in advance, and that's what it's all about. How do we make this convenient? How do we get this into our lifestyle every day? And the centrifugal, like I said, which is great, but you do have to do it every day. And so you just have to do a little more pre-planning, like cut up your fruits and vegetables, put them in a bowl, or put them in a baggie, so the next morning you can juice. And it's a fast juicer. You just put this stuff in and that's about how fast it goes. And with that sound too, maybe a little bit louder. But with the other ones, you have a longer shelf life in your refrigerator, and obviously a little more expensive. Now the hydraulic press, I'll have on Kit talk with you about that when we start to go into the demonstration. So all I'm going to say about that is that it yields the highest amount of juice, and that when you make juices from a hydraulic press, they're good for another week in the refrigerator. You can get about 7 days, but most people don't have a hydraulic press in their homes. So there's almost no heat transfer with the hydraulic press. So, and on Kit, we'll talk a little bit about that. So I have just this little chart to summarize what we've talked about regarding the difference between those three juicers. And I tried to color code this up here. So the centrifugal, the masticating, and the twin gear, kind of in order of good, better, best. As far as the yield of juice that you produce, that's certainly something that you could consider as a quality of your juicer. Now, the bad thing is the cost. The twin gear is much more expensive. And I think the juices coming out of the twin gear are better, or are the best tasting, because there's no, I don't like to even have like any little particles, because that sort of grosses me out a little bit. And that's just a personal thing. But so with the twin gear, it's really, really smooth, and there's nothing that would make you think that there's any sort of pulp or anything like that. And and again, just to summarize those pros and cons, the centrifugal, it's really easy to use, easy to clean, does a great job on fruits. Oh my gosh, it does a great job on fruits. And it's nice because it's got a big feed tube here, so you can feed almost like a whole small apple. You don't have to cut your fruits and vegetables up very much, so that's really nice. So it does things very quickly, but the cons, again, it's just horrible for greens. It just doesn't do greens. In fact, the juices that you're going to be creating tonight will make 3 juices at the centrifugal juicer. You're going to make 3 juices at the twin gear and 3 juices at the masticating. And with I did not even put any greens for you to make with the centrifugal because it just doesn't work. And I've tried it, and it just isn't powerful. It isn't equipped to do that. And also then the other con of the centrifugal is you got to drink it fast. So the masticating we talked about, that's this one over here, or the single gear. That's this one here. We said the pros of that it allows you to keep your juices longer. You don't have to drink it straight away. And it also does greens, which is really helpful. The cons, it does take a little bit longer to prep because you have to cut your vegetables instead of cutting them just maybe in half or whole. You have to cut them into smaller pieces, not terribly small, but you don't have to get gourmet about it. But this is the feed. This is the hole to put your fruits and vegetables in here. So it's about half the size of the other one. So it takes a little more effort for prep, but. And then finally, as I said, the twin gear, and we talked about the pros and cons for the twin gear. And yes, let me show you. This is the feed chute for the twin gear. So that's again a con for the twin gear, is that you do have to have your fruits or your vegetables in smaller pieces so they fit in there. So, so what? And I like Chris Carr. Chris Carr is, I have one of her books here, actually, Crazy Sexy Kitchen. This is a great book. She's very inspirational. She talks about her journey with cancer, and she's got some good juicing recipes and just some good general recipes in here. But she does these little showdowns. She calls it the Smackdown, where she does some testing with some different juicers or different products, and this one just happens to be her juicing comparison. And she compared the Breville juice fountain, the multi-speed. That's what I have here. That's what we're going to be testing here, just to give you kind of an idea. And I show you this because I want to share what the prices are as well, just so that you have just a general idea for the investment. Now, I actually bought this Breville. I bought this as a remanufactured one, and it was like brand new when I got it. And I think I paid only about $100 or $110 for that. So, you know, you can find some bargains. And so she compared the compact Breville juicer, the Omega juicer, a Jack LaLanne, and a Black & Decker, all centrifugal. And this is just the ratings that she gave it. So this one certainly gave her the best ratings or that what she gave us the best ratings for the centrifugal juicer. Okay? So the masticating juicer. The one that we are going to be experimenting with today is the Omega. It's called the Omega Nutrition Juicer. That's this one here. But she also did this with a Breville, a Huron, and a Champion. And this is the one that we have here. I like this one, actually. And cost, you're looking around $250 to $300 for a masticating or a single gear juicer. And then for the twin gear, what she did was she looked at the Super Angel. That's what we have here. A Samson and the Green Star. And all come very, very, they all rate pretty well. And now the Super Angel, though, that's certainly your most expensive. And it's all stainless, so that thing will last a lifetime. So, but that's the juicer that you'll be able to experiment with. And Ankit, welcome.
Thanks.
Welcome. So Ankit is the owner of Fresh from the Farm Juices, and I asked him to come and talk with us a little bit about the hydraulic press juicer, because as a novice juicer, I don't know much about the hydraulic press, and I thought, well, who better than an expert juicer? So Ankit has Fresh from the Farm Juices, as I said, and they use the hydraulic press.
Yeah.
And so I was wondering if you could just talk to us. We've done a little, just a little discussion, so everybody's familiar with the centrifugal. They're familiar with the single gear and the twin gear. And so if you could just tell us a little bit about the hydraulic press.
Sure. Sorry for being late, everyone.
That's okay. We're glad you're here.
You own your own business, so no worries about that. These are all, before we begin with what the hydraulic press, cold press is another term for it. They're interchangeable. They're all good juicers. They're all going to give you juice. Right? Now, the difference between the type of juice you're going to get, the quality in the juice that you're going to get, the nutrient level, and all that other kind of good stuff, that's why there's those levels that Sharon was speaking of. Now, what a hydraulic press essentially is, it's a two-step process. The first step is the grinding portion of it. Okay, so when you think about the grinding portion of it, there's two critical things to remember. The speed at which it's grinding and what you're grinding itself. The speed is important because the faster you go, think about your car. So the faster you go in your car, the more you rev up your RPMs. Mm-hmm. The more gas you're going to burn, right? It's the same thing with that. It's the same thing. Think of it. It's very similar to centrifugal. It goes so fast that you're going to actually yield juicer at a faster pace, meaning the juice will come out of there faster. But the vast majority of the juice you're going to get is foam, right? You ever see, like, you take a Breville or another home juicer and you have this thick film of foam? Well, the hydraulic press, the grinding portion of it is the exact opposite, because you can control the speed at which you're grinding your produce, whether that's spinach, whether that's kale, apples, carrots, or whatever you're grinding, because you have control over the speed, you are going to get no foam at all. Okay, so what we do when we grind it, upon grinding it, it falls into what you call a cold press. Okay, and that's the hydraulic portion of it. It falls into a press bag. And once it's in a press bag, again, you have control over the speed and the pressure at which you can press it together. Okay, the difference between a hydraulic machine and some of these other machines, not necessarily the twin gear, but a centrifugal in particular, is when you put it in there, in a centrifugal machine, it's spinning your produce, again, at a really, really fast pace. That's causing heat friction. That's causing a loss of enzymes and live nutrients. Whereas in the press, it's already gone through the grinder, which you have control over, and once it falls into the press bag, you have control over the speed and the pressure at which you can close the press plates. So there's no spinning mechanism. Because there's no spinning mechanism, there's no heat friction. Okay? That's the key to juicing. That is the key. So when people talk about, hey, I want to have fresh juice, that's great. That's why I tell people, even people that buy juice from me, do it. You should. You're not competing against me. It's great that people are taking the initiative. But really what they discover is the amount of time it takes. And then if you're using, the other key side to this stuff, and I can sit up here and say, oh, you should use all organic because I buy it at wholesale prices and all this kind of stuff. But the truth of the matter is, really, like, the live nutrition that you want to get from your juices, if you're not using organic produce, you're kind of doing yourself a disservice. So there's a list called the Dirty Dozen list. Okay, I'm not sure if you know.
We're going to talk about
so
that.
I won't say
yep, because I have it. They
cool.
have
so
that.
Sharon will talk about the Dirty Dozen
for sure.
list. That kind of sort of enlightens us to what it is to not use organic produce. The other list that I would talk about is a list that the USDA publishes once every 3 to 5 years, and they've been doing it more frequently now. And it's called X number of superfoods, okay? And the superfoods they're talking about are things like kale, spinach, so on and so forth. Those are, by volume, the highest nutrient density that you can put in your body. The number one food on that list was watercress, which we actually do, we're starting to juice that now. It's not easy to find this stuff, okay? But going back to the hydraulic press for a second, so two-step process, the key things to remember about a hydraulic press, it's a two-step process, grinding and then pressing, okay? Similar in nature to what this is doing, twin gear mechanisms, sort of along those same lines, okay? So it's an expensive machine, but it's very good. So that's the key to the cold press. You want to grind at a variable speed slowly, and then you want to press it at that same slow speed, so there's no heat friction at all. What it does is, you take an apple, you put it through a Breville, you get about 40% juice out of it. You put it through a cold press hydraulic, you get 95% juice. So that side of it is what allows us to use all organic produce, because now my juice yield is twice as much if I was using a Breville or something like that. So if you go to a juice bar, ask them. I do. Even when I go away, my wife and I, we go travel, we go have a fresh juice, and I ask them. Not to say I won't buy it, but I just want to know. You know, because I don't want to drink foam. I don't. I want to drink juice. If I'm going to pay $6 or $7, I want to drink juice. And you should ask, you know, that I always ask the places that I go to, what kind of juicer do you use? It's a fair question to ask, you know. And if you guys ever have a moment, our shop is not too far from you. It's a shameless plug. But we're
That's okay, because I've already been plugging you because I love your juices.
Thank you.
And I'm just hoping that you brought us the healer juice.
I did.
Oh, thank you.
I did. I brought you guys the healer and limey green, and I brought you samples.
Oh, good.
I
good.
didn't bring too many to sell. I wanted
That's
to bring
okay, but we're going to be able to taste the healer,
You're going
right?
to be able to taste everything.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You're going to love the healer juice. Yeah.
Yeah, Sharon is a big advocate of that.
Oh,
Almost
yeah.
as much as I love her vegan cheese.
And yeah, he buys nacho no cheese. So.
Well, we sell it at the shop.
Yeah.
And people actually, it's kind of funny, people that have been my regulars for like a year or 2 years, just sometimes, like every once in a while, they're like, oh, do you have the vegan cheese? And I'm like, what about my juice? Really, this one guy, he's like a really good client of mine. He came in that other day, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't have any. And he's like, all right, fine, I guess I'll buy a juice.
Well, at least you got a sale out of it.
I did.
Well,
yeah,
good.
I did.
Well, then it all worked
out.
out. Then it all worked out.
But yeah, that's the key to the hydraulic press. If you really want to see how it works, on our website and my Facebook page, there's a small video, about a 2-minute video, that you can see how the inner workings of the hydraulic press actually work. It's really cool. It's really, really fun to watch. There's entire cancer therapies that are based around that. The Gerson therapy, if you guys are not familiar with Gerson, that whole thing, the premise behind the Gerson therapy is fresh juice. 13 fresh juices, 8 ounces each every single day. They've cured cancer patients, like millions, with this remedy. So it works, so I would say that's the essentials of the hydraulic press, 2-step process, making sure you're watching the speed, no heat friction, and that's essentially it.
Great.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to have some samples of On Kids juices. Did you bring us menus? Okay, great. So you'll be able to see the types of juices that he makes, and the juices that we're making are going to be pretty different than his. So there's some crossover. But we do have a juice today that we're making that has watercress in it.
Do you really?
Yes, we
Nice.
do.
Nice.
Yes, we do.
That's cool.
So it will be very delicious. But the healer juice that we were talking about has wheatgrass in it. And wheatgrass is so amazingly healthy for you. But so we're not making any wheatgrass juices, but On Kid's going to let us taste his, which is phenomenal. So, and they're going to taste yours after all of ours, right? Because that one's actually pretty sweet. It's almost too sweet for me, but it's a nice treat. I actually think it's like a dessert for me. So, all right. So, thank you for that summary.
Sure.
And so some tips for juicing: drink it fresh, as we already talked about. I said you've got about 15 minutes to drink your juice from this one. You've got about a day to drink your juice from this one. You've got a couple days. I've even gone 3 days in emergency times to drink my juice for that. You get a juice from On Kit. You can have it for 7 days with the hydraulic press. So I say drink it fresh, but again, it kind of depends on the machine that you have and how your juice has been processed. Please do not leave here thinking you're going to just live on juice. Now On Kit has a couple of cleansing protocols. And now doing something like that, sure, that's no problem to do that every now and then, but you cannot live on juice and juice alone. So this is not to say, just start juicing and don't do anything else. Your body still needs to work like it's meant to work, which means it needs to digest stuff as well. So I think cleansing and doing those kind of detox programs is a really good thing to consider, but that's not your everyday. If you can make use of the pulp, do it. Like I said, we compost it. So we got a little compost back in our garden. And if you get really creative, make some crackers out of it and tell me how those turned out for you. So actually in this juicing Bible, this is a really good reference. This is a really, really good reference. So if you're new to juicing or if you're expert at juicing, this is still a really good reference. They have recipes in here for what to do with the pulp, which is kind of cool. They call it a roughie. So instead of a smoothie, because they have smoothies in here and juices in here, and then roughies, which is making use of your pulp. So try to do that if you can. And as On Kit, it gave us a great segue, choose high quality produce. If you can choose organic, definitely choose organic. It is expensive. I know that. And so I have in your booklet the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. This is through the Environmental Working Group. And so what they do is they say that if obviously if you can buy organic and if it's available, buy it. If it's not available, consult these lists. So this is your Dirty Dozen. These are vegetables or fruits that I will always buy organic, because it says that they are being processed or being grown with the most pesticides. The Clean 15, these have the least pesticides in there in the produce. So these ones, if you must buy conventional produce, then the buying conventional produce or non-organic produce off of the Clean 15 list, I don't feel as bad about, because sometimes it's just not available. Sometimes you just you just can't get it. So that's for your references. As I said before, all juices are not created equal, so try to stay more on veggies, not so much fruit. Fruit's good occasionally, nice little treat, but you don't want to overdo it on the fruits because they still do contain sugar. And if you are trying to do weight loss, then you really want to try to stick more with your green juices versus fruit juices. But when you're new to juicing and just starting out, you might need to add some extra fruit. So put pear in there, put apple in there. You know what? That's great. You're still juicing and you're still doing something amazingly beautiful for your body. So that's okay. And eventually, as your body starts to get more accustomed to having those greens in it, you won't even really need that much sweet. So you want it to taste good. You definitely want it to taste good. And then I like to say, eat your fruits, juice your veggies. So eat your fruits whole, but juice your veggies. So that's just kind of my thought process. Best to drink your juice on an empty stomach, and so I'm glad that, you know, I've talked so much to you. Now you're like all starving, like when are we going to be making some juices? So mixing liquids with solids slows down your digestive process. So after you drink your juice, you ought to wait about 30 or 45 minutes if you're going to eat something. So kind of drink it on an empty stomach and let it all settle through before incorporating solids on there. Avocados and bananas, not recommended to juice, so they just kind of smash up anyway. So blend those. Citrus, I always peel my citrus whenever I do juicing, even if it's organic, because some of the vegetables I won't peel. So for example, all of the apples that you have here are organic. So all of the produce that you're eating tonight is organic. But the apples, I don't peel them because I don't mind the skins on the apples since it's organic. Now, if I had to have bought a conventional, I would have definitely peeled my apples, definitely. The cucumbers here are organic, but I don't like the skins of cucumbers. So I peel mine. Do you peel yours? You put them all in whole. Yeah, so I don't like the taste of cucumber skins. So even though I bought organic produce, I still peeled them. But that's a matter of your preference. Okay, so that's a matter of your preference. But when you're dealing with citrus, you ought to peel it regardless if it is organic or not, because your bodies may have some tough time digesting those peels. These are the ingredients that we're going to be using today. So we have, these are all the ingredients. This is all the delicious goodness you are going to get. And notice I said at the end, can add some essential oils. So you can even add, in fact, on Kit, one of your juices, the lavender, the black one. Black and yellow. Yeah, Christine loved that one. Yeah, that was really good. And you have lavender in it. We were talking about lavender, but you can barely taste the lavender in it. Which is probably the reason I still liked it, because I don't really like lavender. But, you know, you can, just to change it up, you can put lime or orange, just to, you know, add. So if you need kind of that citrusy flavor but don't want to add an orange to your juice, you could consider doing an essential oil. But none of the, all the juices that we're doing today are just going to be with these ingredients. And then this is just, these vegetable facts are just in there for your reference. I'm not going to go over this. This is just for your reference, because people ask me, well, you know, like what's the content of this in kale? Well, this has this will list all of the vegetables and the fruits that we're going to be enjoying tonight. And then this, and I think on kale, you were talking a little bit about this nutrient density guide. And so this is a really good reference, for you as well. So a lot of reference there. Now then, let's get to the juicing. So I am going to create one juice for you, and then you are going to be creating your own juices. So let me go ahead and just start over here with this juicer. I said I would make one juice with the centrifugal juicer. I'm going to put my gloves on here. So we're going to make a juice here, and then what I'm going to do is everybody will want to get their little sheet out and have that handy, because we are going to be placing the sample on the circle that is being made. Okay? And that's what you're going to be doing with your teams. Yeah, thank you. You can get those set up. Now, so as I stumble over putting this together, because I don't use this one, it'll give you the chance to get your sheets ready here. I took this apart. Thank you. Oh, here's that. Now, the recipe that we are going to be making is not that one. I will find the one that we are going to be doing. Put my little thing in here. You got to line up the... So this juicer just kind of gets stuck together like this. It's pretty simple to put that together. Make sure you got the pulp bin at the back. And then, of course, most importantly is to make sure that you have the juice catcher here, or we'll have juice all over the place. So I think we've got everything set up here. We look good. And then just make sure that that's in there. And so what we're going to do, this juice, actually let me tell you what this juice is. This is a detoxing type of juice. So you can find that, I'm not sure where that is in your booklets, but it's got pineapple, pear, and lemongrass. So this is lemongrass, fresh lemongrass. Isn't that cool? Yeah, so this is the first juice that we're going to make. And so we're going to turn this machine on. Now, with this one, we have two settings. Remember we said it runs at 6,500 RPMs, and the highest RPM it goes up to then is 13,000. So the low setting is 6,500, and the high is 13,000. So with the hard fruits, we want to go higher. And with the soft fruits, we can go lower. I'm just going to run these on high for this one. So we're going to turn this on. It's loud. So yeah, I just want to warn you, it's loud. But it sounds like we're going to take off, right? So we're just going to, and then you just kind of shove that down there. Sometimes you get some jumpers, try to jump out, okay? See how fast this one is? It's a little scary. Sometimes it just kind of comes out at you. It's still churning around a little bit in there, so we're going to just let it finish up here. Landing. Everybody safe? Hold on. That is a loud machine, isn't it? But it's quick. See how fast that is? But that'll wake everybody up in the house. Now then, so what I like to look at here then is this is what, well, let's remove that first. That's your juice. Like Kit was talking about, there's quite a bit of foam in there, isn't there? Yeah, quite a bit of foam in there. And this is the pulp. And I show you this pulp because we've got whole pieces of apples here. Like I could just eat that. It's such a shame, right? So, we could try to run this through again. And I have done that. But like we have even a whole piece of lemongrass. I am going to try to run that through. So look at all this wasted. Look how much pulp is generated here. And it's like usable. Like it's like full pieces of apple. So we are going to try to run that through. I don't like that we didn't get all of our lemongrass in there. So we're going to try to rerun that through. Now again, so it's like we're double processing it, but it's the best that we can do. We're going to do the best that we can. So I'm just going to get out those big, actually I'm just going to I'm just going to scoop this out. I'm just going to scoop it all out. And just throw it in there. What the heck, right? Let's try to, well, you try to do everything at one time and it just doesn't. There we go. There we go. Okay, now we got it going. Okay, so let's try that again. And we're going to just turn that on. And we're going to just give it this big. I've got a little bit out there, so I processed that a little bit. Okay, well, let's see here. How did we do? Oh, we did a lot better, and we could continue doing that. We still have some pulp, but it's at least more chunked up here, right? So there's still some pieces here, but it's at least a little bit more pulverized. So that's a good thing. All right. Everybody had an opportunity to try that last round? Yeah? Yeah. Okay, can I just have your attention just so that we can wrap up here? And I do have a few more samples for you to try, but I did want to wrap up and then you'll be able to taste at your leisure. So just a couple of notes before we do wrap up here. I just wanted to, we did a lot of different juices. And some of you liked some of them, and some of you I thought were going to not survive that. There were some faces that I saw that were really incredible faces. so little bit scary. But the idea behind this is not to say that you must follow the recipes that I've given to you. All I wanted to do was to expose you to some different types of flavors, some different types of combinations, teach you about the differences of the juicers. And I think you can see there's a big difference between the centrifugal, the masticating, and the twin gear. Difference in quality, difference in cost, difference in just a lot of differences. So I wanted to expose you to that. And also just share with you, there are other combinations to consider, like cucumber, celery, apple, kale, and lemon. And you can just play with that. So if you really like, somebody said they like cilantro. And you know what I said? Then add cilantro to all of your juices. If there's something that you really like, a flavor that you like, well then add to it. You're never limited to the juices that we've created here. A couple of references that I have in your booklet that you might want to explore. As I already mentioned, the Juicing Bible. This is a really great reference, gives you some very good ideas. And what I like about this too is that it just talks about things like, you can just find a thing like overweight. It says overweight, and it tells you some different juices to consider. Then it talks about each of the different vegetables. This is a really, really super duper reference. The Crazy Sexy Kitchen. This is a great cookbook. So it has not just juices and smoothies, but it's got some really nice recipes in it as well. This little book here is also through Chris Carr, and it's got a whole section on juices and smoothies. And, I've got it tabbed up and marked. I put my own notes, okay, but I did it with this. So, you can always just create your own concoction. So, those are just some references for you. And before we close, I want to first say thank you for being here. Thank you. And I hope that you learned about juicing and the things that you were hoping to learn a little bit more about. So hopefully we were able to meet those expectations. And I have some little door prizes that I want to give out. So on in your name tag, you have a little ticket. You have tickets there. So I've got a couple of door prizes to give out. Let me tell you what they are. a food and fitness journal. Food and fitness journal. So it's helpful just to know what are you really putting in this belly. So it's just a nice thing to have. A little shopping bag, and an essential oil, wild orange essential oil that you could add into a juice, or that you could add into water or tea. So I've cooked with the wild orange essential oil. So those are a couple of door prizes. Luann, I'm going to ask you to pick a name for me, please. And if you pick your own, then yeah, no. If you pick your own, then that's good. Good on you. That's lucky stuff. Lucky stuff. And the number is
457302.
That's me!
Yay! Ursula! Oh my gosh, well come on up here and pick your prize. Pick your prize. Okay, super. Food journal was awesome. Very good. Very good. Well, Ursula, would you be so kind as to pick the next one for me?
Okay, here it is. Shall I say?
Yes, please.
457310.
Oh, it's somebody who's not here.
Okay.
Is it your? Do you know what you are? Oh, well, you already. We didn't put yours back in there.
Okay, here it comes. 457303.
Yay, Megan, come on up here.
Well, thank you.
Awesome. Did you win a door prize earlier today?
B&I group.
Oh, awesome. Shopping bag. Perfect. Pick for me.
457301.
Oh!
Essential oil. Fantastic. You are welcome. So before we break up here, we've got, believe it or not, some more samples for you. So Ankit has brought, I'm going to ask him to talk about these. He's also given you a menu. So feel free to check his menu out. I also, before I have Ankit tell you all about these delicious juices, I want to also tell you that I'm doing a cooking class at Ankit's location at Fresh from the Farm Juices. I'm doing that on May 7th, and we are going to do a Foods That Boost cooking class. So it's going to be delicious. So it's just going to be a demo and a tasting. So that is the little pamphlet that you have. And so let's have Ankit just talk a little bit about these special juices that he's brought.
Yeah, so I brought 4 juices that we cold press at our shop. We actually have 10 different blends that we do there. The one that we can start with is Sharon's favorite, which is the
healer.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm excited too.
But I see only 9.
I have more.
Okay.
I have a bottle for you.
Okay, thank you.
Here's your own special bottle.
I was counting. There's not enough for me.
This juice consists of pear, kale, ginger, and a fresh shot of wheatgrass. We actually do organic wheatgrass. It's very, very good. It's one of the most detoxifying things for your body. That is not on the menu that you have in front of you because that's a little bit outdated. So this juice we just started doing about a month and a half ago. So
Chris will serve that. That is delicious. So
it is very good. It has
it's a little bit sweet. You can really,
Yeah.
I can really taste the pear out of that. And I thought I would be turned off by the wheatgrass because wheatgrass can be a little bit harsh.
Right.
But you'll never even know that you're drinking it. It's beautiful.
Thanks. Pear, wheatgrass, kale, and ginger. Thank you. Yeah.
So where do you find your grass? Like where you and I?
So you could get it at Whole Foods, and you get it. So do you distribute it all?
What's that?
The wheatgrass.
I do.
Do you distribute it?
We
Okay.
do. Yeah, we actually sell trays of wheatgrass at our shop. The ones
Oh,
that
do you?
Yeah,
Oh.
you can get a fresh tray.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You
You can grow it.
can grow it. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can buy the seeds and grow it. It's just keeping the temperature control and the right sunshine for it. It's a little bit tricky, but you can easily grow it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. So it's very, very good. Organic wheatgrass is one of the best things to have.
It's so cleansing to your system. So so that one is not listed on your menu, but
It's called a healer. Yep.
But the other ones are, so you can use your dots to, to mark that. You can use your dots right on the menu there. So, yeah, so that you can write notes on there.
All right.
Great.
The next one that I was going to have you guys try is, we'll do the Restless Red next. And the Restless Red essentially is a beet, and we actually juice the beet tops as well. There's a ton of nutrients in that. And that's actually another thing, when you do hydraulic press juicing, you could do stuff like that.
You can do that.
You could do that because it's easy to juice. So we juice the beet tops, carrot, lemon, parsley, ginger, and a little bit of apple. That is a sweeter apple in there, so you might taste that as well, but you will also taste the beets in that. So very good. Very good for blood circulation. Very good for folic acid.
Restless Red.
Restless Red. Very good for, it's a good replacement for coffee, actually. A lot of people drink this and they give up coffee. Yeah,
That's good
it
tip.
provides you with that natural energy boost. What's that?
Sharon, did you try this one?
Yeah.
She doesn't like taste the beet. She can't even taste the beet. She doesn't
Yeah.
like
Well, at
beets.
least I
I
like
beets.
We'll cheer you on.
You'll do. I'll try a little bit of it. There's no more. He didn't save me any. So, but thanks for considering me. Thank you.
Yeah, and actually the interesting thing about that is in one of these 12-ounce bottles, there is about 1 pound of beets that goes into it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So if you
That's
guys ever
it. I'll
come to
try
my
it.
facility, I'll actually give you a behind-the-scenes tour.
Oh yeah,
which
definitely
I do
one
great.
Miller.
And show you exactly how we make all this stuff and how much produce actually goes into one of these bottles.
I don't like it.
I love your honesty.
I don't like it. I taste the beets, and I try to think of all the other good stuff in it, and
I taste like the ginger.
I don't taste
Yeah.
any ginger in it. I
Yeah.
taste. It's not horrible. I don't want to spit up, after I drink it. But it's not a juice that I'm going to go into the store and I'm going to go right for the healer juice, and I'm going to take that because that's what I love.
I
Yeah.
think what you should do is take that and use that as an advertisement. I don't spit up.
Exactly.
But the great thing about Fresh from the Farm juices, though, is that it's really smooth, similar to the Twin Gear. So you probably notice as all this tasting, the different the texture of it. And so the Twin Gear produced a really smooth juice, and just like on kids' juices with the hydraulic, it's so smooth and it's just not gritty. So that's good.
The next juice that we have is called Black and Yellow. Okay, Black and Yellow is a mixture of pineapple, orange, blackberry, and in that one, as Sharon had alluded to earlier, we use lavender, and we use a lavender essential oil. Small drop, just a small. It goes so far, really far.
That's a delicious juice.
That is.
It's a sweet juice.
Yeah,
so
it's a sweet juice. It's a citrusy, nice morning kind of juice. It's really nice to start your day with.
it's a nice morning juice.
Yeah, really nice morning juice.
And it's good for juicing virgins. Because if you're
for newbies, that's true.
you're not used to having that.
I think it's bad for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know?
yeah,
It tastes so good.
yeah.
Like you could drink this instead of pop if you drink soda all the time.
Yeah, it's good to replace any sugary beverages that
Exactly.
maybe you have the need to drink. So
It's sweeter. It gives you that craving. It
Yeah.
fills that craving that you have. So. Do you
absolutely,
guys like that?
I like that one. That one's definitely a good one.
It tastes like you would put a shot of ramen there.
You probably
Go for
could.
It does taste that.
You probably could add that to
Yeah.
it. Why
And then
not?
the last juice that I have is called Limey Green. Now, the interesting thing about this, what you guys will probably taste foremost is the apple in this. And that's by design. So it's a sweeter juice, but the cool thing about it is in this bottle there's 3 pounds of produce. 1.5 pounds of that is spinach and kale. Okay, so like I said, it's really, if you come to the shop, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. I can sit up here or stand up here and tell you about that stuff. But 3 pounds of produce, half of that is greens, which is like 6 servings of green. The cool thing is, people love the juice because it tastes like apples, right? So you can drink it. But all the benefits that you're getting out of it are just sort of disguised and you feel really good having it. So that's one of those where you want to drink more of it, and I encourage people to do it because it has the sweeter apple in it, but you're also getting all those nutritious foods out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, with the kale in itself is just a powerhouse of nutrients.
Yeah, it's a superfood. So
Yep.
Limey green.
Limey
Now,
green.
these juices, the limey green, the restless red, the healer, all of those come in our detox packages. And that is a really, really good place to start. Whether you're a novice, whether you're an expert, it's a really good place to start in the sense of the way the program is designed, you're getting so many essential nutrients that once you're actually done with your cleanse, it really your body, you're training your body in a lot of ways. You're training the chemistry of your body to say, hey, I want to eat well. It's a good way of doing it. Detoxing.
When you detox, you just eat those foods for a couple of days.
You drink these juices for a couple days, correct?
And you can have water also.
You can have water, correct, yeah. And that's essentially it, yeah. You're getting
liquids, only liquids.
Correct, exactly. You're probably getting around 800 to 900 calories per day, which isn't too bad. And it's a way of just getting the junk out of your system, whether you're a super healthy eater or whether you're not. It's still a very, very good way of just cleaning your body out.
Do you have that stuff already made, or do we call you and let you know?
Yeah, I mean, we're if you could call me and let me know, it's probably better. We've been quite busy lately, so probably easier.
Yeah, and it comes in a box, so you basically just take the box, and and you've got it for the next however many days you choose to do the cleanse. And with the hydraulic press, with the cold pressing like they do, it lasts too. So you don't have to worry about it going bad and tasting bad. It's going to taste just as good when you bought it.
Exactly. So yeah, that's why we have up to 6-day cleanses. A lot of people like that option. I recommend like a 3 or 4 day cleanse for most people just to kind of get going. More experienced cleansers, they want to do longer periods of time, that's perfectly fine as well. And also, I forgot to tell you this. So if you guys do call or come into our shop and say you were at this workshop today, we'll give you 10% off.
Oh! That's bonus. Thanks, Ankit.
Yeah, no problem. I forgot to mention that to you.
That's a nice little surprise.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pretty good around that.
Very good. Very good. Very good. All right. Well, anything else?
No, I
Thank
did
you.
bring some bottles for sale. I didn't really bring too many.
Oh, you have some for
I
sale?
do have some
Is
for
somebody
sale. If you want
okay.
to buy a couple of them, I can sell them to you guys. But if you want to buy more, come to the shop.
Yeah, like if you want to actually do a detox
or something like that. Yeah, I
plan,
only
but if you
bought
just
2.
want to have some juices for the next couple of days,
Exactly.
then
I brought a few.
excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Great. Great.
What was the one that had the wheatgrass in it?
It's called the Healer.
Okay, that
Yeah.
first one.
That's
That is really good.
Yeah, that is really good. So as we anything else?
Nope.
All right. So I appreciate everybody being here. Everybody has a jar too, by the way. So everything that was in front of you, except for the glasses and the carafes. Just to clarify that. So this is I put my juices in a mason jar. So this is just a little jar for you to have as a way to want to juice. So. And then there's also, if you could take the time and just write any comments that you might have, that would be very helpful to me. Thank you, everybody, for your attention. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I loved it.
Thank you. And we'll start out on high speed with your carrots and your celery.
Influence that
And
sugars
so-
have on your diet.
Yeah, and
so
this comes off too.
I
So,
immediately cut out.
it really does.
Basically, this
See how it
slides
spits
over,
it out like that?
locks in place.
Bathrooms there. Bathrooms behind the sink.
Yeah.
Super duper. Who are going to be making immunized? So you're going to be making.
Doesn't necessarily
Here we go.
It all turns to liquid anyway, but I actually like to do the and again, a lot of times,
All right.
actually, let me get a knife because
So
if they didn't
now we
cut
got.
it correctly.
Oh, you know what? Let me. For some reason, they want it to be turned on first, and I don't know if that really. I don't know if that makes any sense. I have it because I don't use it. I went right into that. And you want to do this too? You guys want to? Yep. Whoop, okay, we got jumpers. And this one is called what? This is an immunizing one because you got the pineapples in here, the oranges, so you're getting a lot of antioxidants. Let's check it out. Let's turn it off and check it out. Let's turn it off. Oh yeah, look at that. I know. So we're gonna run those carrots. There you go. Kind of takes two hands to do that. Oh yeah, you're getting some good juice output from that pulp. Yeah. Okay. Wash that out for us. Thank you. And this one, and this doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah, so let me go get
there's
these
gonna
out and I'll show you, but
since
like I
there's
said,
not
it just
as many
slides out
people,
and then they have
we're
this
going to
little
end up
cleaning
with some
device here.
extra ones. I'll ask Chris what she wants.
Kind of